Hello, welcome to the first ever module of the Data Garden course. So in this module, we will learn about p5.js basics. We're going to unpack what p5.js is and how to draw basic shapes in p5.js as well. First things first, we are going to talk a little bit about what p5.js is. So p5.js is a free and open source JavaScript library and platform for creative coding. It's designed to make coding accessible and inclusive, especially for artists, designers, educators, beginners, and anyone else. So yeah, it was built by the Processing Foundation, and you'll find tons of, like references, a bunch of like libraries, and just tons of links and examples. So you can spend days here. And so where we'll be working is just here in the editor of p5.js. You can visit this through editor.p5js.org. And so maybe let's talk about sort of the different components that you can see on the screen first. This left panel here is called the text editor. And so this is where we'll be writing in our code. Over on the right is the preview panel, and so this is where the code will appear. And so if I press run on that, that is what it's going to draw. This is a default code. Over here at the bottom of the text editor is the console. It's particularly useful for, like testing and checking for error messages and things like that. And then of course you've got the play and stop button here. And so you play or you run the code and it's going to loop until you press stop. And then you've got the file and edit. You can tidy up your code. You can find certain words. It's all pretty self-explanatory. Of course, don't forget to save. Don't forget to save your what is called a sketch. So in p5.js, a file, sort of a coding file like this, is called a sketch. I would say the first thing to do if you're here is to make sure that you have an account. So sign up if you haven't already, and that's going to allow you to save your sketches. Just a little bit about how things are written in the p5.js text editor. Some basic syntax or spelling is that each line would end with a semicolon, and everything is lowercase, unless there are specific functions like this one here, create canvas, where if there's two words, then we can join them together, and then the second word will be capitalized. And so you'll get more and more used to it as you go, of course. So create canvas is the surface area of where your drawn sketch will appear. And so if I run this, this indicates that that's a 400 by 400 pixel canvas. So this is the width and then the height. So of course, if I go 800 here, it's going to give me 400 by 800 tall canvas. Another thing that you can do with Create Canvas, and that we highly recommend, is putting in window width. So again, window height here. And so what that's going to do is stretch your canvas to fill in your entire window. You type in window width, window height, so the two words together, and then the second word with a capital W and a capital H. What we have in Draw is the background line that indicates the background color. And so 220 just happens to be the color for this shade of gray. So if we change this to 0, which stands for black, it's going to give you a black background. And if we change this to 255, which is white, it's going to give you a perfect white background. A little bit about how the computer reads the code as well is that the computer will read code line by line from top to bottom. And so it's going to draw in that order too. And so here it sets up the canvas size and then gives it a color.